Welcome back to We're Rooting for You, the America's Next Top Model Gambit Magazine podcast about your favorite show, America's Next Top Model. I am your host, Mark Poupard, contributing editor at Gambit Magazine, joined by my co-host. Why can't I ever say
cohort and co-host? They're both
I just always feel so right. Cohort comes out first instead of co-host, but I don't love you. I don't love you any less.
Arbitrary borders on the criminal. I think at times, are we being slanderous? I'm Samir Roy, by the way.
I was going to say, those velvety tones you're hearing are Samir Roy, other fellow Gambit Magazine contributor.
Yes, and it was an interesting week, as always, at Top Model House.
Oh, yeah.
Mikey won last week, so he gets a little tie-tie tip, and hers is... I love that her tip to him is instantly like, I love your brand. I'm like, well, clearly, because you're all about his D for some reason.
So
I don't know what it is.
Why is she so thirsty for that Mikey D? I don't get the appeal.
Don't get it, but she even has to say but try to bring some high fashion into it too. I'm like, that is instant code for not gonna win.
Yeah, whenever she says high, you need to meet in the middle, high, low. High. I'm all he has are lows, so I don't know how he's gonna have that. Your advice to him is to journey towards
the middle, and he's gonna. Well, obviously, if you're at the low end and you move to the middle, that's obviously better than
step
low.
Up. Well, he was saying that this was a dream come true. That if you want stuff like this where he's from, which is just Florida, the way that he talks about Florida makes it seem like, I don't know, he grew up on Skid Row or something.
I keep telling you, he's probably from swamp territory in Florida. What is the hometown he's actually from?
Florida. I'm sorry. Hollywood, Florida.
It's all the same to people who don't live in Florida.
It's
all one big, horrible
swampy,
town.
Weird mess.
But, they've got Orlando, which has Harry Potter land.
Yeah, but now we're getting our own Harry Potter
land. When
land,
the hell is that opening? But nonetheless, he's from somewhere in Florida that must be really terrible
but it was
for him to talk about it this way.
It was a sentiment that was echoed a lot this episode. Wow, you really came from nothing and you're making something out of it. And we're just so proud of you on America's Next Top Model that you came from... aren't you guys all about that? About making something out of nothing? You start in wherever shitty podunk town you're from, and then you get launched into stardom thanks to Tyra. Isn't that the story you always tell anyway?
It's the story they tell, but it's never the story that comes to fruition, because how many times have they launched anyone into superstardom on this show?
Right, but she has these sort of...
the best
grandiose visions of what it's supposed to be like, so nobody tell her what it's really like.
Yeah, the most that we've ever seen accomplished by any of these people is one was at an Oscar telecast, not as a presenter, but brought out as somebody who was going to hand out statuettes apparently at some point. I think it was that girl Anne that they bagged all over in Cycle 3, and I forgot who the other one was. And so there was that. It's or being in a commercial and being recognized as someone who was on ANTM.
Oh, was it Carrie D? Isn't that psoriasis commercial?
Psoriasis.
Oh, no. Psoriasis.
But she's a pariah and she has psoriasis, so she is a psoriasis sufferer.
It's all of these medical commercials that are so confusing where I was I think she had a job as an architect. I was wait, nope, that was just her weird fake job because she was going into a cartoon world, or maybe I'm getting
it was no, it was supposed to be this is how I go about my normal life. Thanks to Stellara. I think that's the name of the drug.
Is that what it is?
I think it's called Stellara. It's supposed to reduce your symptoms or something of psoriasis for...
Well, that's the most visible work we've seen on the Top Model Contestant. Oh, and then Yaya was Whitney Houston in that biopic.
Oh, yeah. She's also been in a couple movies as a dancer, usually. So she still uses her dance skills, to her advantage.
Right.
And I remember seeing her on that it was not Ralph Lauren. Ralph Lauren had way more taste. Tommy Hilfiger. Tommy Hilfiger
Who's the
fashion
other
show.
one that does polo shirts but has poor taste?
Tommy Hilfiger had his own fashion designer competition show for one season. It was very entertaining. I remember really liking it. And so they had to go to Ford Models at one point. They had to go to Ford Models to get models to be in these ads. They all had to create their own photo advertisement for their clothes. And one of them, I think she called herself Princess, and she was from Chicago, who, I'm not sure I remember, made a really gorgeous jacket covered in little designer buttons or something. It was really beautiful, but it didn't win that challenge because they needed something that could be mass-produced. And there was no way that they could mass-produce that jacket.
Yeah, no, it's too intricate. It takes too much time.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was that same episode where she had to choose a model, and she chose Yaya as her model. Model had Yaya had been signed by Ford Models.
That's so random.
And I'm like, Yaya.
What a great moment of crossover reality TV.
And she still went by Yaya, too. Like, clearly her association with Tyra had not really damaged her because she got, like, a contract with a really good modeling agency.
Wasn't Ford a prize in the past?
At one point, but she didn't win that. She didn't win her cycle.
Oh, right.
That was when Miss Eva the Diva won. Oh. And her biggest success has been as a guest on Fashion Police while Joan Rivers was still alive. That's as far as I'm concerned, because I think she has some kind of show.
She was plugging something. I'm like, she's on something else.
But I never watched it. I never once watched it. I was like, oh, she's still around and she does stuff. That's great. That's as much as like anybody's ever really gotten out of this show as a winner. Mm-hmm. It was that. Like, the people who didn't win usually do better.
Like that Annalie Tipton.
Yeah, she didn't win, but she ended up being in a bunch of movies and TV shows. That girl Elise from Cycle 1, who didn't win. She was top 3, but she was number 3. Mm. And she ended up being like a supermodel in Hong Kong. Like, got tons of work, lived there for a long time. I think she doesn't live there anymore. But she kept a blog the whole time. Like, so these are all people who didn't win who did well. So
and
it's
then
like,
Big-Eyed Allison has a great career in South
Asia
Korea,
as well. Yeah. So South Asia likes that kind of look in the white girls with like, she almost looks like she stepped out of a manga or something. Yeah,
she has a very animated face.
Very, sort of extreme features, but also, like, are, like, stunning, doll-like and beautiful, right. Sell well in those markets, so
she looks like a Mark Ryden painting. She's just very exaggerated, or, like, doe eyes.
Big eyes.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I'm getting the vibe from this season almost, like, I think, like, this episode in total was, like, trying to confuse us even more by, like, oh, look, Niall's on his way up, but he's not there yet, because Mame actually is still, even though she didn't win the challenge.
Yeah, so I would love, I think they're trying to fool us. Yeah, I didn't really look at the scores, though, which I try and do, but I wanted to see exactly how many, like, she must have just gotten all 10s.
Like, it didn't look like it. It didn't look like it at all, and like it was clear that like Niall's photos with his mother were easily
mathematically didn't even make any sense.
Photos, like there was no question. Like when you saw all the photos, it's like clearly the ones with Niall and his mom were easily they looked the best. He was giving the best face of all the models. His mother was like serving it really well in her Streisand pose. It was just like so clear that everything added up to Niall like being better than everyone,
especially since he won the challenge.
And he won the challenge, and she was
and Mame was in the bottom.
And her photos were not only not as good as him and his mom's, but they were not. If you could think that they were better, they weren't like so much better that they would overcome her not being the bottom on the challenge.
Right.
Like it just made no sense to me, and I felt like they're trying to confuse us to have it be Niall's gonna win, but we're trying to fool you by having him not do well here, and Mame's actually not going to win. And it's going to be like the person who wins is someone who might actually benefit from it and might actually have a successful career in modeling. And
well, from everything that I've seen, everything that I've seen recently, at least like in the last like month or so since the show's been on, is Niall's in like a lot of stuff.
He's everywhere, which like
in tons of magazine spreads that actually get a lot of like social media press in general.
Like he's covered everywhere, and it's
so I feel like they try and at least in like the same vein as like The Bachelor or whatever, they try and keep the winner as low key as possible until the show airs,
or distract you from it by like, oh, this person's actually the one who's on top right now, because they do that in the last episode of every show where it's like the person who's in the bottom 2 but barely squeaks into the final 2 from the final 3, like that person. It's like they make it like, oh, the number 1 person is obviously not going to win. Whoever wins the challenge, like the mini challenge in the final episode before going into the final runway, we know that person's not going to win. It almost never happens. It's always the person who was in the bottom 2 and barely got into the final.
They overcame.
2. They're the ones who always seem to win the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, it seems like they're almost reversing that this year. It feels like they're going to have it be like, I don't know, maybe they'll do the same little trick in the last one, but there's a final 4 now.
Right. They ended up
like
not breaking a tie between Lacey and Mikey,
bullshit.
Which was such a...
It was like the recent World Gymnastics Championships on the uneven bars. They had 4 girls tied
I read about that. That's
for
so
the gold.
insane.
So all they did, the podium was just 4 gold medal winners. Because they don't actually do tiebreakers of the World Championships like they do at the Olympics. So they all had to be gold medal winners, but because there was already more than 3, basically there were 3 ties.
That just feels like such a cop-out, just like this move did.
And I usually hate Russia, but that little Russian girl, like the one who used to be so sad-looking and have little button earrings, like as a sad contrast to how unchildlike this childlike person is, I thought she clearly should have won. Like, it was so obvious that she was so much better than everyone in every possible way. Like, there was like, she was perfection, and the fact that she had to tie with 3 other people for a gold medal was a little shitty. They all took it in good stride because they're like, hey, we all get a gold medal. We're fine. But nonetheless, that's not going to happen on Top Model.
And
but
they're not vying for a gold medal, so
like, this is like, you know, this is like not even like this isn't even shameful bronze at this point, you know.
I don't even know what sort of ring in hell they're in front of right now, but they're not. They're still race to the bottom, pretty much.
Tin
or
foil.
Just like, I would say it's like the lid to an old.
It's the
soup
chocolate
can.
coin with a strap, you know, the little.
That's actually being too generous. Because then at least you have chocolate in the middle of that.
White, gritty chocolate. The old ones that you've had for 2 years.
Oh, goodness. Well, not to spoil the ending, but if you are listening to this, then you probably, hopefully, have already watched The Guy Who Was a Mama's Boy. Which...
was both guys.
Exactly. That doesn't really give any... None of these titles have anything to do with anything. They just like to stick guy or girl in there and then, like, a general thing that happens within the episode. But... to go from the finale or the end of the episode all the way back to the beginning, 45 minutes earlier, before we figured out that there was going to be no tiebreaker. And we still have to see Mikey's dumb, unwashed face some more. They were given the mini challenge of having to shoot nylon covers and then having the public judge which one they liked.
Like, oh, so the real telltale sign of how well you sell is... how many of your magazines sell off a magazine rack? How many people are going to pull your cover?
This actually felt like the most
useful
metric, actually, to judge them
gauge,
by.
Like, who's actually
because
good?
I feel
because
like,
who's the public going to respond to?
Especially in the last...
just by seeing them.
The last year or so, there have been more of a move for magazines doing this, like judging... oh, nobody really likes this celebrity or like this model that nobody knew sold the most out of everything, even though we had Beyonce on a cover. Like, they've been using these sorts of metrics since they have to shell out a ton of money. These things don't... I mean, they're very expensive, usually. And they require a lot of time and effort. So you want to make sure that the time and effort that you're putting in is going to sell. Mm. So, especially for some... I mean, nylon, I feel like, has such a, like, easy brand to identify with. You're like, all right, it's like hipsters. Like...
yeah.
Emotionally...
vacant.
I was going to say impaired, but also vacant. Hipsters that, like, just want to look at something for 15 minutes. And so I feel like everybody understood what nylon was about except for Ma May, because all of the remaining model testants have a little one-on-one time with a stylist, like, oh, give me a couple words about who you are and I will find an outfit for you. And Lacey's like, I'm young, I'm fun, I'm from the South, I'm 18. And I feel like, yeah, that's pretty much you're bubbly and excitable. So they put her in these really cute overalls with a shirt with like a little bow tie. I feel like it suited her personality very well.
As opposed to the hair they gave to her mom.
We can get to that. That was upsetting. That was very upsetting hair. No one should do that to anyone's mother. Just leave.
Like, you invited their mothers
here.
here
And you did that to
like,
the conservative woman from the South.
I mean, maybe it was like a gay hairdresser who was like, I'm going to get revenge on you for thinking gay people shouldn't be married. I'm going to give you the ugliest ass haircut
But how do you know that she's the one that feels... She could be a conservative that doesn't...
Well, we didn't see all the footage.
This is true, but still, you know someone else made that choice. Like, Tyra okayed that in the end.
I mean, she did also encourage the diplomat's wife, Mame's mother, to scream and laugh for the camera.
Well,
I
think
how undignified must she have felt?
The
even though she
screaming
tried.
led to awkward laughter because her mom was just kind of uncomfortable.
Like,
it was so weird, the relationship.
We have class. It's so difficult for me to be in this environment because I just feel like my natural class is disintegrating rapidly in the presence of this horribly trashy television show. Like, what is this show called? I got the sense that she had no idea what this show really was.
She did fly all the way from Ghana, though.
Well, you know, it was like, she would have looked really bad if all the other contestants' mothers were there and then she's the only one who didn't show up for her daughter, because I don't think that they would have canceled the shoot. Or be like, oh, we're not going to do this mother-child themed shoot shot by, Tyra's mother. Tyra's mother is back to prove that she's a human.
I feel like it actually works, though, because Tyra seems slightly more normal.
She's still smizing like crazy. Like, what are you selling?
Well,
that you love your mother?
Like, I mean, that's the only thing Tyra knows how to do. It's like reflexive, almost.
If you frown, your face will be frozen that way, kind of thing from your
mama.
Her eyes are
frozen.
Only her face is frozen
smize.
in a smize.
But we're getting really away from the nylon shoot because Mame tells the stylist that she's fine, which was like the most forced thing I've heard her say. She's like, I'm fine. And then she corrected herself and said, regal. And they gave her this.
Ooh, what a good word, regal. That's amazing.
It's like they were surprised that she knew the word. It was a little annoying. It was slightly patronizing, but whatever. I digress. They gave her one of the ugliest dresses I've ever fucking seen.
What, that white and black brocade thing?
Yeah, I don't know. There was just something the way that she was wearing.
Well, it was also the weird hair that they gave her.
Like, her whole style was off. That did not look like nylon. So I feel like she was immediately
and they're supposed to be like relaxed, and it's like, this is just you being you, and she really didn't look comfortable being her, or at least not her.
I guarantee you that dress was uncomfortable. It looked really stiff and just kind of.
Hey, that's no excuse. You know how it works in the modeling industry.
Oh my god.
It is entirely
I feel like it was
true.
Still a poor choice though, styling wise.
Well, there was many poor. Like, they just sort of glossed over the fact that Mikey and his mother were put in the most hideous clothes of all the people there.
I did not gloss over that. I tapped you and said,
the show.
Look how ugly that fucking jacket is.
The show glossed. There's like, this is what you're going to wear. Like, oh, that's awesome. I'm like, wait a minute. Are you not even going to like touch on the fact that you just, maybe they didn't give them the drama. Maybe they're Mikey's taste level is so non-existent in terms of fashion. I mean, his line of tonks, mismatched tanks and socks, they thought was a great idea, apparently.
It still annoys me because even his nylon cover, he looked like he was dressed in tonks. Like, it
was the same thing. I'm like, this can only go so far, Tyra.
But I hate to say, I mean, okay, so I have one thing that's almost a compliment, and then I have something else that is just a critique. So I'll start with the critique. I'll start with the bad first. He can't fucking model without his hair down. He can't. He had his hair up in like a man bun, and it actually looked all right for once.
Yeah.
But he was like, I'm going to let my hair go because I'm from the streets. And when you're on the streets, you let your hair down. The positive side is he looked like a nylon model. Like, I bought that. Just like dirty, greasy. And next week, their photographer is Cobra Snake. I bet he's going to fucking love Mikey. This guy's a slime ball just like Cobra Snake. They're going to be best buds. I bet he would be a huge supporter of Tonks.
Oh, that's true.
Cobra Snake is so gross. He just dresses in like old man clothes. I mean, they have creeps on 15-year-old girls.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like with it ending in that it's leading directly to Mikey winning, because it seems so clearly written for him to win that challenge.
The Cobra Snake challenge. Yeah.
For him to it just seems
and since Cobra Snake's just a giant flaming trash can douche, of course he's gonna have. He's not even going to bother to try and communicate with Niles. Just be like, you're not doing it. Do I yell louder at him? How do I let him know that he sucks?
How do I tell him what to do?
Oh, no, I'm not going to sign. I don't do that.
Like, what are Cobra Snake's
The only signs that I do are, like, the finger in the whole one, like P and G. That's the only one I know, and I'm not going to change.
Like, how would you describe Cobra Snake's style?
From what I know him of is party photography, which was like big in like the mid-aughts, where you go to like these really dumb club kid shows and you take pictures of their rolling asses and completely drunk selves. And that's his style of photography. And then, of course, because it looks a lot like American Apparel's leering non-photography, I'm sure he got a lot of work through them as well.
That is one thing that you can say from Mike. I think that's where he could find modeling. I feel like he's just the sleazy type for American Apparel
Good thing American Apparel just went bankrupt, so...
Oh, so he still won't get paid much.
He could be, just like the Zappos thing, he could be the face of the relaunch of American Apparel.
Oh, I was hoping to have they would have some clearance sales, like they'd close some stores or something.
Well, there's definitely that happening. There's definitely that. But I was talking more in the Mikey vein of, I'm going to help your career, because, part of Mikey's I don't think she was. Well, Chrissy Teigen was there.
Yeah, she was there just to eat food and talk about how she put on 12 pounds.
Tyra has a hidden clause in her contract with Chrissy Teigen, who's a co-host on her The Talk-esque show, Fab Life. I think it's on ABC or CBS. I have no fucking clue. No, I refuse to. When Top Model is over, I'm sorry, Tyra. I guess I just won't hear you talk anymore because I'm not going to watch Fab Life. That looks awful. Maybe I'll watch Life Sized and remember the way that we were. But other than that, so I'm pretty sure Tyra hit a clause in Chrissy Teigen's contract
that have to appear on
forces her to be on Top Model.
But when she gets there, it made no sense.
Oh yeah, it made no sense, and it was just kind of like a really haphazard intro cold opener to the show because I guess part of Mikey's tie tip or something, like when you win a challenge, at least when you win mini challenges, most of the time, if there's a client involved, you get some sort of free shit. And so maybe this was like the little cherry on top of his win and his tie
But
tip.
he had to share it with everybody because everybody ate dinner with her.
Hold on. They went into the selfie room that we said that they haven't been using, which they finally used again on this show, just in time for it to end.
Right.
And she grabbed a gigantic glass of wine and took it with her. Because if she's gonna let this like creepy ass dude, yeah, if I'm gonna be trapped in a small room with cameras, I have a feeling this guy likes cameras. I'm gonna need this big ass glass of wine.
Up whether they want him to or not.
It was just so he just can't. When you can't think that he won't get any grosser, he just does. He's like, I don't want John Legend to beat me up. I'm like, wow, that's very presumptuous of you. A, you think that Chrissy Teigen has no standards and she'd hook up with you, and then B, you think in doing so that it's John Legend that's going to come after you? I think that she would beat you up. Why is that always
his first thought whenever a woman enters a room? It's seriously the only thing he's thinking of. It's like, or at least it's the only thing that they ever show him thinking of, or show him talking about.
Well, he even has a Freudian slip there at the end during judging panel when he's like, oh, I can't wait to see this picture of me and my mom. We don't have any nice photos of us together. I'm going to blow it up and put it in my bedroom. And all the judges are like, maybe, how about just the living room? I'm like, yeah, dude, that's weird.
Like, that tells me something about your upbringing. I hope not.
I don't want to know.
Like, I feel like a terrible person every week talking about Mikey because he gives you so much material to make you not like him in so many ways. As far as I'm concerned, that I'm like, am I just a horrible human being or is he just truly awful?
No, I think that, I don't know if it's everyone else or us or something.
Or at least the persona that he's crafted for this show is
total slimeball. But they have tweets that are, I don't know why they do this, but they add these tweets at the bottom of the show. And one of them was, Mikey's so fine. Fione.
Fiona? No.
It's fine.
He's so Fiona. He does kind of look like maybe it was his feet who was next to Fiona Apple's head in the criminal video. I keep going back to that because it looks like that's his whole life.
I feel like that would be the best. Just like how I thought that Devin would make an excellent backup dancer, I feel like Mikey would be an excellent, I don't know, music video hanger-oner. Like
somebody in the background who's like drunkenly seducing a girl at a party with low lighting.
Oh, good.
Lots of low lighting in a pool, maybe.
Well, so by everything that we saw in the Nylon Mini Challenge, a lot of chicks picked up Mikey's cover and like, he's so hot.
I was like, this is really disturbing. That like these I was like, I couldn't imagine girls actually thinking he was hot. And then it was happening, and I'm like, who did you pay to say this? Where did you find these people who would sacrifice their dignity? 3rd Street Promenade in
Santa Monica.
Isn't that supposed to be the nice part of town?
Not anymore.
Oh, yeah, now they're going to build the metro to go out there so all the riffraff can get there on public transportation easily.
But also, 3rd Street Promenade was never that nice.
Well, no, but the beach is so gorgeous.
It's all right.
I was by the Georgian Hotel.
Oh, I feel like all of the hotels that face the beach are beautiful, for sure. But 3rd Street Promenade is kind of just like, It's like Union Square here, except not as pretty, where you're just like, there are lots of tourists.
Union Square where a freaking bus crashed and, like, injured, like, 20 people? Did you not hear about that?
No.
It's Friday the 13th. Not only, I mean, normally on Friday the 13th, I like have a big horror movie thing. I'll talk about that later. But nonetheless, there was a horrible thing that happened at Union Square. Awful.
Oh. Well, I was just going to say,
it's just like that 3rd Street Promenade is 3rd Street Promenade.
Good tie-in. Good one. So Mikey seems to be in the lead at the beginning of this mini challenge, but I guess everybody's been blind up until now, but Lacey's like, oh my god, Niall's like a ladies' man. I'm like, yeah, girl, what did you think?
Isn't that why you cuddle with him?
Yeah. Do you only think that you're the only one that can find him attractive? Do you not get how being attractive
works? Sexually fluid.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. If only there's got to be some modeling work to be done here in San Francisco. I've been thinking of making some t-shirts to sell to people who've been forced out of identification that say, for people who don't work in tech and don't want to be hated, you can wear this t-shirt that says, I don't work in tech. With a big no sign over like a keyboard or a laptop or something. I don't know. You know, something like that. So people who like move into the city who don't work for these companies be like, I swear I work for like an art nonprofit. my mother grew up here, something like that, something that you can instantly identify yourself as not part of that culture. We may need Niall to model these shirts for us and then hold them in his hand while he's not wearing a shirt, holding it up.
Yes. I like all of these. I like the idea of just creating a shirt so we can employ Niall.
Yes,
briefly.
And if he's going to be here, we should make him some booty shorts or something.
Yeah, we should just fill the whole thing out.
I'll get an underwear designer involved who's not Andrew Christian, who doesn't make slutty underwear for men.
Or will we?
Or will we? Maybe Mac Weldon will need him. Now they probably don't want to pay the models that much.
I don't know. We'll see.
Either way, we'll find a way to employ Niall in something that's totally legal and not pervy, because I don't want to become Mikey in real life.
Ugh, you never will be, don't worry. He just there's just like a layer of just kind of Pigpen-esque slime that comes off of him.
Like
whenever he starts talking, you're just like...
Everything about it. You remember Margaret Cho's actually it was before I'm the One That I Want. She used to tell the story. But when she did that stand-up film, she was talking about how her over-drinking produced this state in which one morning she woke up and needed to pee, and she's like, should I get up and pee, or should I just pee in the bed? And she's like, and I was actually weighing the pros and cons, like, well, it'll be warm for a minute, and I can it's a big bed, I'll just roll over. Like, she's actually thinking these things, like, that's how much of a drunk she was, that she got to a point where she was thinking that. And I feel like Mikey's one of those people who has occasionally wondered whether or not he should just get up and go to the bathroom, or just lay in bed and piss there and then roll over. He just seems like the kind of person to whom that inner dialogue may once have actually happened.
I'm not going to argue with you there.
Like, it just... I don't know, if you could smell. I wonder what he would smell like.
I don't wonder.
Can you imagine what I'm like? Because, normally there's always like you usually have some shot of guys like in a bathtub or a shower or something throughout the show. Since they've had guys, I don't think we've seen a single shot of him in a shower or a bath.
I think maybe a hot tub scenario.
Hot tubs, yes, but those are not baths.
I know, but at least...
Chlorine is still a chemical, but it's not like antibacterial soap.
It's not like disinfecting him at all. I don't know. I can't say that I've seen... And he's been in the Tyra suite, too. They've got a nice tub in there.
Right? Like, I'm just surprised that since
it's a waste
they have
that it's
such
on
a
him.
hard-on for him, we haven't had a single, like, sexy shot of him in a tub or a shower. We've gotten that with Niall
I was just saying, remember
times.
those sexy shots of Niall being contemplative in the tub?
Contemplative and slightly sulky, and oh my god, even sulky, he's dreamy.
Oh my god. I mean, how does someone look hotter when they cry? I don't understand what's happening.
It's like, genuine human emotion is a beautiful thing. And when you see beautiful people expressing something genuinely like that, it just like, it was that Anne girl again when she was in Japan. They criticized her for not being, like, not showing a lot of emotion. And so she was, when they said something to her that made her cry, and the judging and, like, the Japanese designer was like, now when you're crying, like, you are so beautiful. Like, you look so much more beautiful and, like, alive, because she looks more alive. Mm-hmm. It's not just, like, some staid, like, plastic face that they're keeping on for a panel of people signing their fate. It's like, oh, something real broke through, and this, sparkle of tears is always beautiful to Tyra, I'm sure.
Oh, it's why she asked everybody that's why she brought the moms on this episode. It's why she asked everybody at panel to talk through their emotions so they would cry more and break down when they saw their pictures of their mother. But... just want to touch on briefly, like how you were saying that genuine emotion, it inspires another emotion in the other person watching. When Mikey broke down and lost it, when he thought that he was going to go home and then he didn't.
I did not buy it.
I laughed. I laughed again when I watched it with you.
Yes,
we were both chuckling. It just was so unbelievable. Like the way that he was acting. Forced. Oh my god, it was acting.
It was like his speech about reading the Zappos CEO's book and taking.
Someone wrote this for you.
I'm like, someone told you to do this, and you're following instructions, and like that's what I got out of it. Because when he got up, his eyes weren't even really misty.
And to be fair, there was a one-on-one interview or whatever with him earlier in the episode
where he was breaking down.
He really did look like he cried, and I was like,
you can tell the difference when someone's like really feeling emotion and really crying, and they already got that moment out of him in a confessional. That's probably where he felt more comfortable doing that, not in front of everyone there. Even though obviously what's being recorded is going to be shown to millions.
Right.
When you're by yourself in a room, it's still easier to talk.
It's a little bit different. It's a little bit more
recorded.
intimate than, being in front of, like, panel.
The judging panel. So I feel like they're the...
And then I think that you're also way more conscious of the cameras, because if you're doing a one-on-one interview, it's probably just one camera. As opposed to shooting these big panel scenes, I'm sure there are at least 3 or 4 cameras around. You're just very aware of everything.
I feel like if they've gone to this level to coach... I feel that he's been coached to say these things. If you've gone to this level to coach him to say these things, and if he's accepting these instructions, I feel like the only reason he would be induced to follow these instructions, to do these things that feel forced, which is a lot. Like we said, the crying in the confessional felt real. I think it was real.
I do too.
I don't doubt that he loves his mother. And
no, it's not that. I just doubt his fucking crocodile tears in panel.
In the panel, it was totally forced and fake, I felt. And I'm like, if he's actually doing what they're saying, that must mean that they've compensated him in some way. Does that mean that he is going to be the winner and we're all going to be... Like, because, they need something like that everybody gets pissed about, because that really gets even more press. It's like, oh my God, the worst person won. Everybody who watches is pissed. That'll make everybody talk about it more. They'll get more money out of it since this is supposedly the end. So I'm like, is that what they're trying to do here? Are they trying to do that? Or are they like, we're just so overthinking everything that even that, but why bother overthinking? I just think that Niall should win. And either way, even if he doesn't, he still wins.
I think he already has won, judging by all of the work that we've already seen come out in last month or so with him. So I think either way, he's fine. I mean, I don't think that Mikey would actually be an upset. I mean, other than you and I don't really know how... I think that he's actually doing well among other viewers, I believe.
Well, we don't have a social media vote anymore.
I know, but I think that we're the outliers a little bit on this one.
But, those tweets that they include on the show, it's like they always tell you, tweet us your thoughts. You may be featured on an episode. We want to hear what you really think. And I'm like, yeah, you may want to hear, but what you'll put on TV is only the things that, agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's never, an actual opinion. Remember when they used to have, fan videos criticizing the models?
Well, yeah, that was last season.
They once allowed us to say something negative about somebody and have it included on the show, but all of the tweets have all
been super positive.
It's like, oh my God, Kelly's the best part of the show. I'm like, who did you pay to say that?
You have to think that there has to be one idiot that thinks that.
There can't be. How could anybody be that stupid when you watch
Clearly
the show?
There is. Just go to Twitter, prove
She's
your
so
point.
unpleasant that I don't think that anyone genuinely would ever say that without being coerced.
Well, I think you could probably find one person.
We'll give you 100 followers.
I don't think that happens, and
if
I don't think
Twitter,
that ANGM has that kind of pull. Is what I mean.
Well, they've got a lot of production staff, probably. You all got to add this person now. It's in your contract. You have to add whoever we tell you to on Twitter.
I do think that they edited out a lot of annoying Kelly stuff this week. I feel like I don't even remember her being in panel, let alone her saying anything stupid. Thank God.
That is actually a blessing in disguise. I should have increased the rating for the episode for making me not even remember anything Kelly said.
I just don't believe I feel like I heard her talk that much at all.
She did. I think we were just really good at tuning her out now.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess she didn't talk very long. She didn't have the floor, or didn't bogart the floor the way that she did last week.
It's like getting used to the sirens when you live in a big city. You just know they're there and they're annoying, but you come to realize they're not going anywhere and you just get used to the sound, but you don't ever focus on them as much as you used to. That's Kelly.
Well, at least she wasn't at the fashion show.
Just seems like Kellys are always like this on TV. Kelly Catrone, I'm going to say Kelly Capone, or Kelly Kapowski. Kapowski was fine, but I was going to...
Who's the other Kelly?
Kelly Osbourne.
Oh, God.
The other repellent Kelly.
Yeah.
God, can't believe she's gonna... no, please don't. I hope that Project Runway Kids thing just fails miserably so we don't have to see her at all.
That show feels really silly and kind of pointless, more so than most competitive reality shows. It's just like that chef versus kid cook-off.
I think it's designed specifically just to humiliate people because no one's going to be a winner in that scenario. It's like,
but who's going to gang up on a bunch of kids, though?
Well, a chef who doesn't want to be embarrassed by being defeated by a child in a cooking
No, I mean on
competition.
Project Runway. How do you not come out of that sounding like a dick by, talking down to little kids that are debatably talented?
I don't know.
It just seems like a bad idea. That's all I gotta say.
How are you going to do this without making children cry? Because imagine, I could just, I don't know, it's like they're just going to keep talking even as the kid starts crying. How are you going to work with that? Because it's a high probability, unless you get, really crazy kids who are, little adults and supposed to be used to that.
I know, but sometimes it's so loud.
I meant because we live in a big city, you know, we tune that out, and then suddenly we're hearing it again.
It's extra sensitive with the mic.
I know. It's that high frequency. It really, like, pierces through everything.
My God.
You always got to worry about that. Low frequencies you can deal with much easier.
Well, so back to top model talk. So Tyra brings out her mom and talks some more about her background, how she got started, how her mom is related to the whole thing, and how her mom took her first couple of photos. And I feel like Tyra, when she shows these pictures, it really does prove that she was or is or whatever tense you want to use.
Not a natural talent.
Yeah, she really photographed very well. And I mean, I often think of her passport photo that she took.
Yeah, I was like
an
it was a
insane
stunning photo. I've seen some pretty amazing ones too. I'm like, are you a real person? So she had one of those kinds of passport photos.
Yeah.
You're like, is this like, how did you create this? Is this in a studio, like the post office studio or whatever that you take them?
But her pictures, I just feel like they cut through the bullshit of all of her stories. She's like, and then I got discovered when I was 13 and I was a freshman in high school and I was like sitting outside like, oh my God, it's the first day of school. And someone was like, you should be a model. I'm like, oh my God, this is the most annoying story ever.
But then you see the photos from that period and you're like, oh.
Oh, you're like, oh, wow.
Well, I could believe
Why
that.
didn't you just lead with that and then not tell your whole spiely story? Anyway, I guess whether this has come to light before or not, her mom didn't want her to be a model. She didn't want to take her photos, yada, yada. Tyra's annoying. She convinced her. And now we have Tyra. Yeah. Got her to Paris when she was 15 and ran all these runway shows all by herself in the rain, in the cold, and now, you know, we have Tyra the Beast Banks. And she wants to return this favor.
The bank signs.
No.
The bank signs.
Dip it, dap it, pat it.
Click it, click it. That's how Dustin says it.
Yeah, it's him like, what's the one that Dustin can say?
Click it, click it, click it. Such a thick tongue, he couldn't say nothing.
Click it. What? Poor kid.
Oh.
So Tyra decides to return the favor of mothers to her model contestants and brings in everybody's moms, and everybody bursts into tears. And then we find out that this week's photo shoot challenge is going to be with the models and their mother, which sets probably nobody on edge at first, but I feel like Mame was maybe a little bit worried.
Because she didn't really have, like, a personal, physically her mother was not really there a lot in her childhood. But she's just like, I was raised on the phone, and I'm like, but didn't they send you to live with grandparents? Didn't they raise you?
Aunt and uncle, I think she said, but even still, yeah. She was like, I was raised on the phone. I was like, that's putting it mildly.
I'm sure your aunt and uncle feel really good now, considering that they devoted that large portion of their lives to raising you, that you don't consider it being raised. That's really sweet. But nonetheless, her parents
even
were
said that
Ghana.
the last time that she saw her mom was like 3 or 4 years ago.
And she had to be flown in from Ghana. Mm-hmm. That's not a cheap flight.
I don't think so.
I wonder how many stops that poor woman had to make on the way here if ANTM was paying for the ticket.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, it's like, okay,
yeah,
you're going to go
Tyra made it a point that she was like, yes,
London,
we flew her from
Paris,
Ghana.
to Amsterdam, to Los Angeles, to Houston, to Dallas. Back, you know, it's like, no, Los Angeles was last because that's where she had to go. So I'm trying to think, it had to have had like 9 stops.
You think so?
It had to have, like from there to Morocco, to London, to Miami, to New York City, to Philadelphia.
Wait,
you know, it's like
they could go New York, Miami. Well, actually,
who
New
knows
York,
what the
Philly, Miami. And then Miami to, I would say, Denver, or maybe somewhere in Utah.
Yeah, like it had
and then maybe one more stop, like in Arizona or something, or maybe in Nevada, and then LA.
I mean, she's lucky that they didn't book her as cargo to get her there cheaper.
I think that she is too proper to be booked in cargo. I don't think she would have came if that was going to be the case.
That's true. They had to do something, but I'm just imagining she had to make like...
You know, it was Coach, and she was ashamed.
Yes. Rightfully so.
But yeah, they had a very kind of cold relationship. Not cold.
It wasn't a very warm, like, you know, mother-daughter relationship. There wasn't a whole lot.
It was awkward. It was a little awkward, I'm not going to lie.
And it showed in the photographs that they took. Like, you know, like, her mom couldn't really... Like, she was very reserved because she's a diplomat's wife. She's supposed to be this way. That's why I'm like, why the hell did you agree to be on this? Her aunt, who actually raised her, could have come. Like, why didn't you do that? Why did it have to be her actual mother who...
The tears wouldn't have been as good.
I guess, and she maybe like the mom was like, well, I guess I should do something to support her. Dear God, does it have to be this?
Well, yeah,
Fine,
which was interesting that you say that because Mame tells Tyra like, "Oh, it's so beautiful that your mom was so supportive from the beginning. I don't feel like I had that kind of support from my mom." I'm like, oh, and then she flew all this way here and she let Tyra put her in some ridiculous outfits and then let Tyra yell at her to dance.
Oh God, so uncomfortable.
So, I feel like your mom is supportive in a quiet way.
Yes, she went through all this shit.
But their interactions it felt a little odd. Like, I felt the hand of a producer in there a little bit, like, Mame, be closer to your mom. Like, I feel like maybe
like actually pushing her in.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Mame respects her mother's space a little bit more, not on camera, but it felt like the hugging and the being gleeful part, some of it felt a little like, get in there, like, go talk to her.
Show us how much you love each other.
Yeah. If we can't just pick it up on your face, we need big movements, big hugs.
Real big.
But Niall and his mom had a really touching bond that I thought was super sweet. And she seemed really supportive of everything that he does. And it was actually interesting during during Niall's Nylon shoot earlier, he was talking about why he likes modeling over acting, and how you can convey a lot of different emotions without having to say anything.
Yeah.
And it felt like the picture between him and his mother definitely conveyed that a lot. Like, it showed how close they were, that they were really mother and son.
They both have a sense of style. They both have a sense of flair.
And also that he's protective of her. Because there was the Streisand
with his
pose.
arm around her.
And he was, like, very, like, I got you. Like, hand. Well, he's also got a fucking banana hand. Like, huge hands. Just... like, crushing her arm. But, yeah, it was really touching to watch them hang out together. And it didn't feel weird or forced.
It felt, like, so organic and, like, they were just being themselves. Like, that's the thing that makes, I think, him really good. It's just that he has the ability to just be himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And still, like, make it what the client may want. You know what I mean? But, like, he's not... It doesn't feel so forced and unnatural to him. Like, he's able to just incorporate his natural personality into whatever he's doing. He's able to be comfortable in these different settings. That felt the most real out of everything on the show.
Well, and Yusai even said Niall, out of all the models, takes direction the best. I'm like, yeah, because he doesn't have to listen to all the other bullshit that all of you say and talk about throughout the whole time. Like, he gets to the core of the point because... that's just what you got to do. So maybe that's why he gets better direction or takes better direction than you guys.
Because you don't be able to use all the same TV, happy tricks.
Mm-hmm.
Things that make good TV.
All the manipulative tools of, like, the things that you can say. Like,
mm-hmm.
I don't think you finished watching Unreal, but they definitely go into that a lot more as the show goes on. Like, the psychology and, like, the games that they play with people. To, like, get them to elicit a certain response at any given point in the day, which is actually quite terrifying. The producers have basically complete control over your own emotions. You don't get a choice.
It's like, we need you to be this way, and they will say whatever they have to say to you to
they won't say
to
your face, we need you to be bitchy, or maybe they will if they think that you'll actually do it, but most of the time, they're just coming up to you and fucking with you.
It should be like they're putting these stories in people's heads. Like, I believe, like, when both Niall and Lacey were talking about how Mame hasn't really had, like, great photographs, like, throughout this whole competition. She's kind of had, like, pretty good, but not giving them everything that they really want. Like, both of them said that, and I'm like, that just, to me, sounds like, so what do you think about Mame not really having very strong photos throughout the show? I feel like that was the question, and then they repeat the question back, like, oh, I feel like she hasn't really had any.
It felt like they were prompted.
To say those exact things, like, you can usually tell when something like that has happened. That seemed like one of those moments, too. So it's like the epitome of reality TV, because none of it is actually real in the sense that we expect it to be. It's another kind of reality, because they really said that. Right. They were in a position where they really felt that because they were coerced.
Reality is what we're dealing with.
It's
the fine line between scripted and documentary.
This is so far from documentary.
Okay, maybe not as fine of a line.
I mean, it could be a documentary in the sense of giving us a true depiction of Tyra crazy.
Lord.
Like that, it kind of works.
Well, some of the choices that she let happen, like Lacey's mom's hair.
Like, oh my God. Seriously, it's like Miley Cyrus performance hair. Like, the cornrows and the mohawk and
that was
the
like
mullet combined.
That was a big-ass bouffant she had in front. I mean, it was like 10 feet high. I have to say, though, I did not care for what they did to Niall's hair. I thought he had a little Wolverine-y look going, and
Well, they were trying to recapture that. Was it that primordial wolf energy, as Kelly put it?
Well, Tyra's mom did have a good point about how Niall has hypnotizing eyes.
He really does. All he has to do is open just a little wide, and you're like, oh,
yeah, you're like, I feel really
I'm
calm
there.
Right now. Do you want money? What do you want?
What do you need? A place to live? Do you need?
I take you take your shirt off, or we both take shirts off.
But it was like, oh, and it was just like so cute that she actually directed her mother well. Tyra actually directed Niall's mother. She's like, oh, I'm getting like this very like Barbra Streisand feel with like the
I
profile,
totally thought
and I was like, oh my god,
yeah.
Is that like a sound photography decision from the
and
woman
Tyra
who thought
even made an effort to communicate in sign language as well. I saw her signing a little bit, and I was like, look at you.
Are you using Niall's app, the one that didn't have as many legs as Tonks?
Oh god, still so annoying. So annoying. But yeah, Niall's mom definitely had a little Barbra Streisand to her. And then when he said that she was from New York, I was like, it all comes together.
I love it.
Perfect.
The picture came out perfect too. Like
I
they
really
were
did.
the best. It's like, okay, so as we said, he won the mini challenge, and then clearly had the best performance.
He hypnotized the main challenge
in
or
the main challenge, and then Mame won.
Yeah, so
for the week.
I will say, I mean, I can't say I was like the biggest fan of their nobody's outfit or styling was on point in the main photo shoot. The mini photo shoot, it was mainly just Mame. It looked really stiff. But in the main photo shoot, I mean, Niall's mom like overcame a lot of obstacles with that hideous outfit that had like some strange train on it that needed a separate PA to like flick it up every once in a while.
But it was still better than what every other mother got.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it made her outfit look like Coco Chanel vintage compared to everybody else's outfits oh my goodness, I don't know where they were pulling from, but someone was upset.
Were amazing.
The silvery jacket I didn't like. It looked like he was wearing like really cheap sequins. I didn't like it.
I didn't notice that one as much as the other one, maybe, but I thought he had way better clothes by far than anyone else, except for maybe Lacey. She had cute outfits, but they were so junior-ish that like.
Well, she had no pants on in one.
Very juniorish then.
Yeah. It really still makes not a ton of sense to me how Niall didn't win. Like they had the best connection. Both of their photos were stunning. It would just like look the best. I mean, Tyra's mom, first of all, took really great photos. They were all really wonderful.
They actually were good. I was like,
I do understand, except for, I liked Mikey and his mother's photos the least, but they were well composed, they were well lit, they were well directed. So everything from like Tyra's direction to the photography to the way that they were placed, like Niall and his mom, I feel like their photos were the strongest for sure, and were some of the better ones this season. Out of all of the themes that they've had, this is the most coherent and the one that kind of translated best. I mean, besides the doll one, which I think that, was pretty self-explanatory, but. In this sense, everybody actually had a really good photo with their mom, though, on top of it all. So I feel like on two levels, this challenge worked.
I liked the challenge. I did not I don't like Mikey as it is, but the weird color pattern blocking of him and his mother's clothes for that main challenge.
He had like a weird tie-dye Wonka suit shirt on in the second one. But there was, the photo where he kind of has like a sup, like you want to rumble kind of look with his mom. That looked like... They look like the rival family from a Sons of Anarchy episode.
I think you hit the nail on the head with that.
Yeah.
Because they look like people you don't want to approach.
Yeah. Well, as Tyra put it, she looks like the Viking queen, and you look like the Viking prince. I'm like, I don't know if you know how Vikings work, Tyra. That sounds
They
weird.
were violent and unruly.
And I don't think that they dealt with a monarchy.
They also are not role models. So... This is not a compliment, really, even if there is a show with hot people on, like, A&E called Vikings. A drama, it's sort of like a Game of Thrones for Vikings.
Yeah, I've heard. But
I don't really watch Game of Thrones, but...
Same.
Everyone else does.
Yeah. Well, they look like Vikings and not like the cool TV show kind.
They look like Vikings who've never actually fought a fight.
Yeah.
Although he talks a lot about, like, how hard a life his mother had and how he's the only guy in his family who didn't go to jail and finished high school. And I'm like, but that's all we really heard about your life.
We don't know what in particular happened.
Like, what kind of mother was she to you? Like, nothing. There was no talk about that. So in all of this planning for, like, how they're going to have him, like, break down, I think, in the panel, and, like, all the pre-written story elements, they never once considered having him really elaborate on the intricacies of his love for his mother and what she kind of went through. Like, I mean, we don't learn a whole lot about each of the mothers, but we learn that, you know, Mame's mother and father, like, her dad was a diplomat, mother diplomat's wife in Ghana. Niall's mom was a single mom raising 3 boys. Lacey's, well, they learn that her mom's conservative woman. I don't know what more we learn about her than that.
Her parents got divorced when she was 15.
There you go. It was like, where's the sob element?
Yeah. With Mikey, it was all very vague. And his mom was also super vague, where she was like, I had 3 kids and I did the best I can. That was pretty much it. And you're like, that sounds
really weird. Like, there's a story they really don't want us to hear. From these people, I'm guessing.
It's bizarre. It's very abrupt, too, the way that they just kind of, not abrupt, they just kind of, like, trail off, like, you know how those things go, like, nope, not really.
Like,
what happened?
The things were really good. Murder.
Like, I know, like, something.
What happened there?
Right?
Is it like that? Like, Marnie, did somebody kill a hooker in your house or something? Like, or kill a trick in the house? That's what I was going to say. You know, like, you ever see the Hitchcock movie, Marnie?
Oh.
You know, she discovers that her mother's, or she knows that her bad childhood memory is that her mother was sort of a hooker for the sailors who docked at the end of the street. And the daughter went crazy kind of one night and killed one of them with a fire poker, like beat him over the head with it. And I'm like, did that happen in your house? Was there, like, a situation where, like, tricks were being brought back to the house?
It was very strange.
You know, like, what was going on? Is there some weird Hitchcockian plot that happened in their house that they cannot discuss on camera that like, everyone's terrified of knowing?
I feel like you're giving it a little too much credit, whatever it is, for being Hitchcockian. I think it's more, have you read that crazy Twitter story about this girl's trip to Florida to do some
Swampland?
No, to do some stripping. Oh, fuck.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, what is it, like Zoiza?
I
forget
probably
what it's
why
called.
I didn't read it. It's about a girl stripping.
But it's like an insane story. And I feel like that story is probably closer to what Mikey's experience is than something that Hitchcock came up with.
Well, you know, if Hitchcock was alive today, maybe he'd make a movie about a guy who's a predator in cougar bars. It's possible.
What's that Pacino? Cruising?
That's a disturbing movie that the entire gay community was rightfully angry about at the time.
But
it's a very interesting movie regardless.
He'd be cruising, but it'd be like reverse. It'd be like for cougars.
So who would he be killing? He'd be killing other lecherous young men who also seek cougars?
Or cougars.
He's killing off his competition at the cougar bars.
Okay, I like that. That's the only way you would actually land in the cougars.
He's like, I've got to get rid of everyone else. My specialty is the old lady department.
That he's told us himself.
He should go to that one that was in the episode of Don't Trust the Bees. Like, oh, it's Saddlebags. It's a cougar bar. They don't like the daylight because that's where you can see their lip liner bleeding into their mouth wrinkles.
I wish that was a real cougar bar.
Did you like the way I sucked that down?
Mikey would be into that.
I feel like that's his scene. He's like completely right about that, which makes him grody.
Oh, man. How disappointed were you when Tyra was like, congratulations, Lacey. And then you're like, oh, thank God. We can finally get on to the final 3 that we knew was always going to be there.
It's like they know that we
And then all of a sudden she's like, but Mikey, I didn't say you weren't going home. And I was like, wait, what? What are you talking about?
I do have one photo. Luckily, it's a diptych of both your photos. I was tricking you. See what I did there? I pissed off everybody who watches the show and can't stand Mikey.
Us.
There has to be more. There has to be more like us.
You did us wrong, Tyra. It was annoying.
I was so looking forward to him going home.
I know. I was like, finally. This should have happened like 4 episodes ago.
We feel like the contestants in shows. I'm like, what do you mean there's not another person going home? I've been here forever. I want this to fucking end, and you just made it take a week longer.
Or whatever their shooting schedule is like.
Yeah. You're like, oh, well, let's eliminate 2 people in some other episode. I'm sure to make up for it.
Well, it sounds like there's going to be a double elimination coming up soon since only one guy and one girl can walk the final runway. But not before they have to make presentations to Tyra. So we're definitely going to get more poster board and glitter.
Oh
and
my God.
Arts and crafts projects for a 3rd grade science fair
So
level.
I guess if Niall wants to win this time, he's got to make it look like, it was sitting at the bottom of his bedroom floor. And then he just literally picked it up after a week of living in the room without cleaning and then posting it for them. Like, it's got to have jizz stains on it. It's got to have dirty laundry. It's got to have ugly photos that Tyra thinks somehow are great. Like, that's usually what that thing looked like. It just looked like he pinned his laundry from the floor onto a poster board and then set it up in front of them. It's like, this is my presentation. I'm going to wear mismatched socks and a dirty tank. I use this as a comrade.
You want to touch it?
Yeah, I know Kelly does.
Anyway, so they have to make a presentation, which I don't understand what the point of that is.
The Top Model Symposium. That's what we're getting next week.
Can't wait to hear their essays on why they should be on top.
Well, Niall doesn't have to write me an essay to tell me that.
No, we're okay with this.
You can be on top all you like. Any day.
But it also seems like, in addition to our Top Model Symposium that will take place and some Cobra Snake leering, we're also going to get to see some of the old models return to walk in this final runway.
Oh, yeah, Justin comes back, so it's the Mom Made Justin drama.
I don't think so. I think that's a little bit fabricated.
Well, it's easy to create that sense when you're only incorporating 2 seconds of footage.
Exactly. Which...
I'm really nervous about him being backshot of Justin. Drama.
He looks upset. I'm like, what?
Well, yeah, he probably just had to talk to Yusai. That's why he looks upset.
Yeah. He has to come back onto the show again when he thought he could go home.
He's like, I thought I was done, like, not seeing the outside world.
You guys are going to eliminate me again,
You said I could have my phone back.
Please don't make me use the poop phone again. I can't get out of this map app.
And all it does is show me around the house.
It asks me if Mikey wants to text.
And I don't.
I don't. I just pretend like I can't see
out.
it. I just want to leave. I would honestly be upset, too, if I had to deal with the show again after being eliminated twice.
Didn't that happen last season with the girl who came back?
It happens with almost every cycle where they bring back the old models to walk in the show.
Was it this show or was it another show? Where, like, somebody came back and they were like, oh, like, I'm just not happy being back in this environment. I was happy.
That was Chantal.
Yeah, she was like, I was happy being free of this. And they're like, why isn't she excited to be here? It's like, are you excited to be living this way?
Yeah.
I don't think you are. That's why they give you so much booze. She probably got used to it. She probably got all dried out and she was like, oh, fuck, I cannot drink this much to deal with this anymore. I mean, she ended up in a Desi Wild campaign, so it couldn't have been too bad for her, I guess. I mean, I haven't seen her in anything else, but...
I saw her in a Target ad. Target ads, actually.
Ooh, so she is commercial after all.
Mm-hmm.
Because Desi Wild isn't exactly high fashion, but...
Right. She still gets
expensive.
Work. She still gets work, though. So.
But she does get work. At least there's that.
And everybody shat all over her because she wanted some semblance of sanity.
Right? And, like, she wasn't a particularly likable person before that, but, like, I'm not really mad at her for not being happy to be back in that environment. It's like, so
her
of course,
and Dustin actually have something in common, which is I left, and then I came back, and then when I came back, I realized how crazy this was, and how uncomfortable it makes me, and how much I just would prefer to leave.
I was able to deal with it for a week, just like before.
Yeah. I could do anything for like a week or two, but for more than that, I start to question things, and then I start to lose my marbles.
Poor thing. Well, he's better off without this show.
Well, he'll be back for this final runway, so
maybe
there's that as well.
Niall will be together again.
Oh, maybe Dustin will find some more, I don't know, makeup artists or stylists to follow on Instagram.
Or maybe Dustin will discover he's fluid also. Let's hope. Move over, Lacey.
Do you think Lacey is going to make it to the final two? You think she's going to be the final girl? We didn't really talk about our photo too much. I mean, it was fine.
But you know what? But she was the winner, though. I feel like of this... Oh, not Lacey. Sorry. I thought we were back. I was going back to Mame and how, like... I felt like maybe Mame is actually the one who's going to go out, but they may be trying to just confuse us with that. Like, Mame's pictures aren't that great.
I mean, I think Mame is extremely striking. I think that the first photo with her mom, I thought she looked fantastic. She looked like Grace Jones. She had a really wonderful outfit on. thought that the connection with her mom was fine.
No,
it was okay.
It was okay. I didn't actually love her outfits at all. I thought both of her outfits were, like, really hideous.
I thought the second one felt a little, like, Tina Turner-y.
And I was just like, these are bad. These are just really bad. Like, why are they doing this to these people? Why do they insist
what she
on
put her mom
them?
in was strange. It was like a weird clown outfit. It was not the
something
second
you
look,
could imagine like Phyllis Diller wearing at a comedy show.
That is actually exactly it.
That's exactly what she was wearing. All she was missing was that.
Or a drag queen playing Phyllis Diller in Snatch Game.
Oh, did anybody do that?
Not recently, but I feel like someone has.
I mean, it was... No, I don't know if anybody did that on the show. I remember they did Carol Channing.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of then.
But that outfit could also be Carol Channing. But two people I imagine this diplomat's wife from Ghana
Older
does not
lady
want to
comedians
look like.
is what this looks like.
Yeah, so
our
Elaine
eyes.
Stritch. But Elaine Stritch, I think, had a little more class than that.
Yeah, I feel like she did more like shirts and pants type deal.
I'm seeing definitely Phyllis, or maybe Cloris Leachman.
That's also a good one.
All of them. That was the inspiration for her look, unfortunately. So that stylist should be shot.
But Jesus Christ.
With a water gun or something.
Okay. Or with a paintball gun.
There we go.
Because it leaves a little welt, so you know never to do it again.
Yeah, see that scar? That's to tell you never to use anything Phyllis Diller inspired in a fashion shoot. Learn it.
Live it, be it. Thank you. I'm still perplexed as to how mathematically she won. I mean, no shade to Mame. I just am still...
It was like everything was like second, third tier the whole episode, and then suddenly it added up to number one. So you have one who was clearly number one and questionably number two. How's that... I mean, I don't know. It was the judging, not just the scoring, that was like... It's just so not even based on what they actually think about some of these people
I feel like
anymore.
maybe Tyra was just a little too proud of herself for getting Mame's mom to come out of her shell just a slightly...
We got to give her the win
bit.
so her mom... Like, maybe that was part of the contract with her mom. It's like, if I'm coming out there, she better win this damn challenge. I am not embarrassing myself on national television for you to fucking put her in second place. You bet your sweet ass.
That smacks of more rightness than any other theory I've been running through my head right now.
Otherwise, I'm not coming.
That sounds
and you know that they
pretty spot on.
You know, like, they don't have any compunction about creating pure fiction and selling it as reality. So, obviously, this is just like, okay, done. Get your ass from Ghana over here. Get your ass to Mars. Get your ass to Mars.
We'll see you in 26 hours.
Yeah, right. Oh, God. Poor thing. 6 days and 26 hours. She's going to have a 3-day layover.
I was going to say, are we putting her on a boat? How is this working?
She's going to have multiple layovers that last for... She's going to have to rent hotels. I'm going to use my diplomatic passport to get right through customs everywhere.
Ooh.
Because she
That's
probably
a nice
had
part.
that.
Yeah. Well, so we didn't talk about Lacey's photo, though, with her mom, because I guess there's not really too much to report.
She looked good in the photo, definitely. Like, her mom's hair was so distracting.
Dear God. And they had her in profile every time, too, so you couldn't help but just stare at it.
every part of its awfulness.
It was so hideous.
Like, I don't know, when you post a review, you need to find the image of that haircut from that Summer's Eve commercial and put it next to this woman's haircut. It looks, literally, it's like the same haircut. I'm not even kidding. Everybody out there, go look up the Summer's Eve haircut. It's the one with, like, the two roommates both coming up to the bathroom at the same time in their towel with the towel over their hair. And they're like, no, I had a worse day than you. I had a worse day. Like, oh, I got in an accident. I got a ticket. It was like, they keep going back and forth, and each thing is supposed to be worse than the other. And finally, it ends with one girl saying, I got a haircut. She pulls her towel off, and it literally looks just like Lacey's mom's hair in this shoot.
Okay.
And then the other girl's like, you win. Yeah. Like, okay, you get the shower first. You got it. You get to have the Summer's Eve, like, you know.
Lacey's going to have to come back home for the holidays every fucking holiday for a year.
At least.
As a penance for inflicting this upon her
mother. Do you know how
mother.
long it took for me to fix this? Longer than it took Christina Crawford to fix her hair after Joan chopped it all off. That's what I'm dealing with, Lacey. Merry fucking Christmas.
God, it was exceptionally ugly.
Maybe part of her contract was I get a wig until this grows back.
I would hope so.
Human hair wig. Lace front.
Lace front beard?
Oh, God. If they can get a lace front beard, they can get a lace front wig for this poor woman.
Yes, I agree.
Although that beard just gave him a rash because he needed to glue it on.
that just seemed like what was going to happen anyway. If
I'm
we had
like,
to glue
there's
it
no
on.
such thing as a beard weave. You can't weave anything into a beard.
No, there's no.
You need to have a long beard to start with
You
for that
don't
to work.
have.
And
like,
he
how
doesn't
big are
have
the
that.
follicles on your face? You can't weave into anything.
Like if you were Santa Claus, you could add some. You could have like
Some fullness.
extensions or something to it. Or no, you cannot. You cannot create a weave with that. You can never.
Just your
could
bare
have.
skin.
Unfortunately, they did find a way to put cornrows, mohawk, and mullet together in one hairdo.
So in
for her
case you were
mom.
worried, Top Model cracked it for you.
Mm-hmm.
In case you thought this was a hair feat,
That's
you would
my
never be
Halloween
able to.
costume next year.
Oh God, you will terrify
Sell that
kids.
in a wig? Do they sell that as a wig that you could wear on Halloween? Then I think it might be worth it.
I don't know. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure you could find rocker mullet though and
Makeover victim.
Just cornrow the sides of a mullet wig, then you'll have it.
But that really kind of stole the show from Lacey's pretty good, like her pose and
Pantsless
face.
top hat outfit.
Yeah, I didn't like her outfits either, but her face looked good.
Yeah.
Face and hair looked good. She was giving it to me, but it wasn't like the top to me.
No.
The most captivating one, obviously the most hypnotizing, was Niall.
Yeah.
As he usually is. It's not just our love for Niall, it's that he's actually that good. I think he is anyways. And win or lose, he still wins. And we win because I have a feeling we'll see him all over social media for a while.
So who do you think are going to be the top guy and girl?
I think it's definitely going to be Niall as the top guy. I feel like I don't feel when it really comes down to it, I don't see them choosing Mikey. Except if they really want to piss everyone off just for lots of free press.
Mm-hmm.
But I get the vibe that Niall is going to be the guy that they choose and tell everyone how hard this decision was. And as far as the girl, I'm thinking Mame.
Yeah.
Just because of I don't know, it's hard to say. It's very hard to say. Who knows, they won't have two girls in a tie.
Another tie that they refuse to break.
Exactly. I have a feeling that could happen.
It could. We'll have to see how good their presentations go to the board of Top Model.
I think the Mame's pictures haven't been that strong thing. It's more likely that it's a red herring than it is a setup for throughout the season we've liked some of your photos, Mame, but it haven't really gotten the full zing that Lacey's given us.
Lacey has been consistent.
She has been, but consistent people tend to not win.
Or even place top two.
They tend to usually...
They like the wild card.
It's yeah, exactly. That's why they like Mikey, because he's wild. He's an untamed beast. You don't know if he'll murder you or pose fiercely for you. Either one is an entire possibility here.
You don't know if he's going to wear your corpse as another skin, or if he's going to pose. Let his hair down.
Put the lotion on its skin.
He is definitely Buffalo Bill. And I guess we'll have to wait till next week to find out.
I know. I'm excited
Another finale
to see it.
that's broken up into two parts. So
well, they have to stretch it out as much as they could.
Right. I mean, it is the last cycle.
I know.
It's possibly the last Next Top Model.
I know. We're going to have to cover it. I don't know if we'll be able to. We may be on hiatus next week for the holidays.
Next week isn't a holiday.
Not next week, but the...
Thanksgiving weekend?
Thanksgiving weekend, because there won't be Top Model that weekend, right?
No.
So they're giving us a holiday as well. Thank you. Not that I don't love Top Model, but I would like to, just pass out after Thanksgiving dinner for the next day. It's kind of the plan. Well, and seeing family and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Love you.
Yeah, so we have Thanksgiving week off, and then it comes back for the finale.
The finally.
Finale squared?
Yes.
Cubed. That's on the 4th, and then that'll be it. And then we'll have to see if they get picked up by a streaming service, or if this really is the last Top Model that we'll get.
I know. I'm like, come on, Hulu. You need some
15
original
years
programming.
too soon.
15 years too soon. Well, I want to see Tyra doing this till she's She can't hide her age anymore.
Well, I think that some of the rumors going around about it getting picked up by a streaming service is that Tyra wouldn't even be involved with whatever the next iteration is. Not host-wise, at least. She would still stay on as, like, an executive producer.
But she wouldn't host it anymore?
Yeah, I wonder who would even take her place.
I thought she was too much of a control freak to let somebody else host the show. We'll see.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it just depends if Fab Life gets canceled next year.
If we get a Christmas miracle, a top model Christmas miracle.
I think it's because she's wrapped up in that new talk show. But if that thing got canceled, then she would just be like, yes, please let me host it. I don't know what else to do.
We can get that canceled.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's watching it.
All we have to do is let it happen.
Yeah, it's happening now, and I don't think anybody's watching it. So there's a very realistic chance that it's not going to last.
Good. On that note.
Yes, you know what does last are written reviews of America's Next Top Model that are on the Game It Magazine site. You can check them out at gameitmag.com. I hope that you are subscribing to this or downloading us on iTunes or are subscribed to our Gambit Digital YouTube. Either way, I bid you to come back every week until this thing is done. We'll probably do a couple retrospective episodes after all is concluded with this current cycle 22.
I know. I think it would be a good idea. We could sum up each season in a few podcasts.
We'll come back in some form afterwards, after it's all said and done, to give you some more "we're rooting for you" content. I mean, we definitely have to talk about our podcast's namesake episode because that's probably one of the best Top Model episodes in the history of Top Model. But until then, please come and join us every Tuesday that this comes up and read our written reviews that are up on the Game It Magazine site on Mondays. You can follow me and tweet me your thoughts about this current cycle or any other cycle or what you would like to hear us talk about on the show at Margs She Wrote. And you can find Samir at Samiraculous. That is Samir and miraculous as a word because he is Samiraculous.
I know. I try to be. I do what I can.
Up a Shaw.
Aww.
Until next time, we bid you bye.